Good afternoon, Packers fans. Aaron Nagler here with your Packers Daily Chat, coming to you live on the Cheesehead TV social channels. It is Friday. That's right. Friday is upon us. The weekend stretches out in front of us. Hope you're all doing something fun this weekend. I know I'm going to be hanging with my girls for the first time in a couple weeks. It's going to have a lot of fun. Going to watch some movies, eat some candy, do some fun stuff, maybe do a little shopping. I hope you guys have fun wherever you are this weekend. One quick reminder before I dive into today's topic about youth being served. Just a reminder, make sure you sign up for the Cheesehead TV, Cheesehead Nation email newsletter in your inbox every week. Latest one just dropped on Thursday morning. Make sure you're doing it. A link to do so if you want to sign up is in the description of this video. Make sure you do it every week in the off season. You get a new smorgasbord, if you will, of content delivered to your inbox. Once the season starts, we'll be doing 2 a week. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hope you'll sign up. Great response already from folks who seem to really enjoy it, as far as it's just a different way to get all the Cheesehead TV content in one place. We do put out a ton of it between the website, the videos, and the social media. All of it is on display, the weekly newsletter. Make sure you sign up. The other thing you should be sure to do is pay close attention once training camp starts and these rookies start getting their chance, because my goodness, Brian Gutekunst has made sure that we are going to see some competition up and down this roster. No question about it. You look at just some of the things he's done as far as undrafted free agent signings, no doubt that what has always been true under Gutekunst and Ted Thompson before him, as far as it doesn't matter how you got there. If you make, a couple 2 tree plays in a practice, you're going to get more opportunities, and you do the most you can with those opportunities, you might even get a chance to stick. That doesn't matter if you're an undrafted guy, doesn't matter where you were roster wise when the offseason began. It's about making most of those opportunities. And the opportunity thing is something that I think we saw again and again and again last year, when people, rightfully so, talked about the rookie class and how much they contributed throughout the season. And I remember a lot of conversations around, I don't remember a rookie class, playing this much, let alone contributing and playing well and contributing to wins, etc. And a large part of that is because for a long time in Green Bay, you had to wait your turn, right? You didn't get those opportunities. And if you did, it was within the mix of the vets and usually behind those vets. It sure feels like Brian Gutekunst has changed his MO in that regard, especially these last couple of years. I did wonder going into this draft if he would kind of, stick with those 11 picks, which he didn't. He traded, but he still drafted 11 guys, right? And on a team that had the talent that we saw last year, you wondered how much, more of that he would do as far as bringing in lots of bodies to compete. We did hear him talk throughout this offseason about wanting competition in every room. And man, if he isn't a man of his word in that regard, I can't wait to see, again, a lot of these young guys get opportunities. And I keep getting kind of peppered with free agent questions. Might they sign a veteran, etc.? I think it's going to be very much the approach we saw last year. You'll remember his answer to Jason Wilde when Wilde asked him about not re-signing Big Dog. They had drafted a couple tight ends and he wanted them to play. And we all saw the struggles from Tucker Kraft early in the process, and hell, even Musgrave getting chewed out on national television out there in Vegas. But man, those guys getting those reps and living through those growing pains sure looked like it started paying off at the end of the year. And I have to think that is going to be the MO in Green Bay for the time being under Brian Gutekunst. He's going to provide a whole boatload of talent, a lot of upside, and Matt and his crew on the coaching staff are going to have to coach him up and live with some of those growing pains. I'm fascinated to see, because look, if you remember when Ted was in town, one of the reasons people forget when Tom Capers began as a defensive coordinator, he really turned that defense around quick and they played at a high level. But the longer Ted, kind of remained the GM, the more he would count on undrafted guys, really young guys, inexperienced guys who would end up costing them. It happened many years in a row in the playoffs. And I do wonder if that's something that might be serving as a cautionary tale for Brian going forward, as far as I understand this year, right? Still fostering that kind of youth movement, trying to let the cream rise to the top, as it were, competition wise. But at some point, I do think you have to, identify the core of your roster, start maybe filling in with some vets. Now, that's probably a year or two down the line, but for the time being, man, I love this direction. I love the fostering of competition, especially with young, hungry, and let's be frank about it, cheap labor, right? I mean, these guys are all on rookie deals. They're all fighting like hell to get on the field. It definitely should breed excellent competition. Hello to everybody in the comment section. Hope you're all doing well. Good to see everybody. Dennis is here, of course. Dennis, how are you, man? Starting with Ryan. How are you, Ryan? Thanks for the super chat. I hope Morgan has a long career with Green Bay. Can they give him a different number? 77 in first round O line scares me. Just wipe it from your mind. You know it means nothing. You have those feelings because of things in the past, but they are not prologue. Just remember that. Dennis, thanks for the super chat, man. On the rookie minicamp interviews, I liked Bullards the most. He is a real serious guy. Interviews stand out for you. Dennis, I got to be honest, I haven't watched all of them. I've watched a handful. It's a lot of guys getting their first kind of blush of the Green Bay media, and I got to admit, nothing's really kind of jumped out at me. But it is nice to kind of put voices and faces with numbers and names, and we'll see, undoubtedly, kind of like Jordan Love, we'll see their personalities come out more and more as the year and years go along, would be my guess. J Rock, I really appreciate the super sticker. Thank you, sir. Nick, thanks for the super chat, man. After multiple surgeries and therapies, I am medically cleared to go out in the world this weekend. Grateful to Jersey Al and all you guys for being so rad these last few months. Random Packer, Blake Bortles. That's an excellent use. Man, I'm so happy to hear that, Nick. I hope you are out and about this weekend, taking care of yourself, but having a great time. And hey, man, that's why we're here. We're here to connect Packers fans and keep you entertained and keep your mind off all of that stuff. So thanks for sticking with us, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Jeezy Baby, thanks for the super chat. I went back and watched some games from the 90s. Has the competition gotten that much better? Difference in speed and skill was eye-opening at first glance. I think the speed is very noticeable. I don't doubt for a moment that, on the field and watching it in person back in the 90s, those guys were fast as hell, right? But now I don't think you can compare the two as far as sheer speed. And that's not even, I'm not talking 40 times, I'm talking play speed. The way these guys get up and down and hell, sideline to sideline now, as opposed to the way they were in the 90s and 80s, it's night and day. Now, that said, I will put up the 90s crew against, the modern dudes any day of the week as far as the physical brand of football. Like the speed and athleticism certainly pops. There's no question about it. It is at another level now. But at the end of the day, the game is about blocking and tackling. And I'm, pretty adamant in saying that the crews in the 90s could do both of those things a lot better than the guys today. Now, that doesn't mean you wouldn't be able to hit them for a big one or produce a lot of points, etc. Now, it kind of depends on which rules you're playing under, right? But yeah, blocking and tackling, the fundamentals. And that's not to say it was perfect back then. You can watch plenty of old games. They're all available on YouTube, and you can see some horrifically played football. No question about it. That's the same in any era. But overall, especially when you're talking about line play, especially when you're talking about offensive line play, I mean, the 90s crews were so much better than what is on offer today. Like, there's zero question there. Moises, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. Is Eric Stokes, cornerback 2, still rooting for the young man? He's got a shot. That's part of that competition we were talking about at the start of the stream here. I don't doubt for a moment that he's going to be given every chance. He still has all of the upside in the world. I know Matt and Brian have both spoken about, how he looks good. He's healthy and raring to go and participating in the offseason work. And hopefully, though, those pads come on in training camp and he's able to jump right in and hopefully pick up where he was in year one, not last year or the year before. But you do wonder how much his speed might be affected by so many injuries and so much time off. That is an asset to his game. I do wonder how much Halfley's system might help him in this regard, as far as using his length, being able to run with guys in man or any kind of man techniques. I don't know, man. He's going to get a chance, but it's really down to, can he recapture some of that form we saw his rookie season? Because if he can, yeah, he's probably your cornerback too. But that doesn't mean Valentine and King and all these other guys are going to just kind of lay back. They're going to be fighting for that gig too. So I'm That's going to be one of the hottest battles, I would think, come training camp time. Peter Lohr, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. I can't recall a time when a draft class developed faster than this past season. Can you? No, Pete, but that's almost exactly what I was talking about at the top. It's because they got opportunities so often. And I chatted about this last year, and Tyler turned it into a short. It's here on the YouTube channel. Forever and a day in Green Bay, you say we're Devontae Adams your rookie year. Well, you had, you know, a Jordy Nelson, Randall Cobb, et cetera, in front of you. So you would get an opportunity as mostly the number 3, right? It was rare that the game was game planned for you, or you were the number one read, more like it was hardly ever happens, right? And then you flip it on its head last year, where most of the guys who would have been sitting on the sideline, kind of mixing in throughout the season, they all got thrown in, and they played a ton right away. And they made mistakes, and they learned from them, and they developed. And that's what Brian always talks about, right? Like at some point, you have to get on the field and you have to get those reps, because you're not going to develop sitting on the sideline. And because those guys got opportunities, and because they all played so much so quickly, there was no kind of letting the vet get some reps. It was all the young guys. Well, they learned throughout that season and developed right in front of our eyes. So, yeah, no, I don't recall it ever happening, but I also don't recall that many rookies getting all of those opportunities right away their first season in the league. Not in Green Bay, anyway. It's been a long time since we've seen a whole class almost force fed that way, you know? Krista, thanks for being a Care of the G Club member. Appreciate you. Nags, on your way home, I'm on to your hometown for the charity softball game. Oh, have a great time. I know Jordan Love and Donald Driver have their softball game this evening, I believe. Hell, it might be going on right now for all I know. But have a great time. It's always fun. It's such a great venue, too, the Timber Rattler Stadium. Have the best time. I remember going to Favre's charity softball games back in the day when they first started. It's grown a lot since then, no doubt. John, thanks for the super chat, man. I get it to a point, but I am not a fan of waiting their turn. Put the best 22 on the field. It's the pros. It's about winning, not fairness. Yeah, I think that's exactly what the Packers have done. At least this past year, that is what they did. There weren't a whole lot of vets to kind of cater to, but I do think, there's something to be said for trusting experience. I think the Packers were in a much different spot a couple years ago when they were trying to get back to a Super Bowl with Rodgers. And I understand at times their desire to put vets out there because they trusted them. They knew they had been through everything and knew that they could trust them to make the right decisions, the right adjustments, etc. But now they were in such a different spot entering in 2023. I understand and I applaud the idea of like, no, we're going to let these young guys play and develop. And yes, I think you want the best 22 out there. There's zero doubt about that. But at some point, you have to understand the development and, any kind of process. It's not going to be linear. Guys aren't going to just go like this all the time. Sometimes they're going to have down weeks, and you got to stick with them and hope you'll learn from those down weeks. And that's, I think, a lot of what we saw last year. Carl, thanks for the super chat, man. Hey, Nags, looking forward to the Larrabee call on the first Evan Williams sack. Jeff Halfleaf serves up a shot of Evan Williams. Have a great weekend. Well played. Well played. Aaron Picard, thanks for the super chat, man. Lots of team captains in the draft class. Filling Devondre's void, Random Packer, Keith Euchre. Devondre's void. I do think it's very clear that they certainly wanted leadership in the guys that they brought in this year. They took a lot of guys. I think everyone, almost of the 11, I think 10 of them were team captains. So I don't know if it's about filling a void so much as a style of player that they liked and wanted. They certainly attacked that, right? I'm fascinated to see how that plays out. You do wonder about, a lot of leaders in the clubhouse, so to speak. Who's going to take the lead? Who's going to acquiesce? Who's going to say, no, I got this? Who's going to be vocal? Who's going to be lead by example? All those things, But yeah, it's certainly something that, looked very deliberate. No doubt about that. Randy, thank you for the super chat. Nags, Rich Bisaccia said the return team can have 2 returners at once. Can one be used as a lead blocker? And can that person be Caleb Jones? The Caleb Jones lead blocker, that gets me right in the feels. I love this idea. I believe so. I'm not entirely sure. I know all of the rules that they took the last decade basically taking apart the classic, football return, kickoff return because of safety concerns. Well, now it sounds like because they want them to return it, right? They don't want to have touchbacks. They want it to be a live play. Sure feels like we're going back to, okay, this sounds like a play that guys are going to get hurt on a bit, you know? Sounds like the potential for a scrum is is pretty high the way I'm reading it, but I don't think anybody will really know until we see it on the field. But I love Caleb Jones as a lead blocker. Let's go with that. Geez, Joey, what's up, man? We also adore Keyshawn Nixon. Yes, saw that quote from Bisaccia yesterday. Yeah, this is very, very, very apparent that he is the lead of the Keyshawn Nixon bandwagon. There is no one higher on that chart than Rich Bisaccia. Marshall Duke, thanks for the super chat, man. Random Packers, Terry Crews, and Vonta Leach. Excellent choices. Absolutely. Who else we got in here? Mr. Mikey Riggs, what's up, man? Georgia college system feeding the Packers like the Kansas City Royals farm system supplying the Yankees. I'm sure that's an apt comparison. I'm not going to pretend to be up on the Royals farm system, but I'm sure you've nailed it. Oh gosh, J Rock. Aaron Rodgers said he would tell McCarthy after each meeting, "I love you," and Mike would say, "I love you back." Halfley ends each meeting with, "Go get the QB." Random Packer Torrance Marshall. Matt Duke. I got 2 Aaron Rodgers comments in a row. Just so everyone knows, when you're all blaming content creators for bringing up Aaron Rodgers, the audience is what brings up Aaron Rodgers. Thank you very much. Matt says, do you think Rodgers is going to bring Jake Kumaro to the Jets? Who cares? You know what's so great about Rodgers being on the Jets is I don't have to worry about him ever. It's great. Soder, what's up? Thanks for the super chat. They did a great job in the draft, but I think the practice schedule has compressed the gap between rookie and veteran. Quality of play is way down. I agree with that last part. And you're on to something there as far as the way they have stripped away not just practice schedules and practice time during the season, but in the offseason too. I understand the players are working out. They're certainly staying in shape. I'm not, dogging them for that, but the time away from the facility certainly seems to show up each and every season during the regular season, especially early. Uncultured, what's up, man? Apparently, I've got a free Apple Plus sub through my cell service. I'm afraid to start binging Ted Lasso. Random Packer, Johnny Holland, and Brian Noble. Why are you afraid? Ted Lasso's great. Just, no, there's 0 reason to watch season 3, though. Just 2 and you're done, and you'll be fine. And there's a lot of good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff on Apple. I was just finishing up Manhunt last night about the manhunt for John Wilkes Booth after the Lincoln assassination. That's excellent. Highly recommend it. Brandy, you are about to binge the shit out of that. Carl, thanks for the super chat. Random Packer, Paul McJulian. Oh, that's a good one. And then we get a Wesley Walls call. That's good, Rich. I like that. And I'm gonna head out on that one. A Wesley Walls touchdown against the Raiders, night after Favre's father passed away. All-time catch in the corner of the end zone. All right, buddy. I'm going to get going. Cannot thank you enough for hanging out, talking Packers each and every day, Monday through Friday, right here on the Cheesehead TV social channels. Please do me a monster favor. Hit like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then tell your friends and tell your family. Cheesehead TV, we are devoted to Green Bay Packers fans worldwide. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great weekend. Go Pack, go.